So let's talk about the Elite Youth Tour. This is something that seems very exciting for the sport of bowling. So why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about what it is, where it is now, and what you see its future might look like.
This is probably one of the things that we're most excited about, and how this idea was born is that Jason and I are always talking about what we can do for the sport. What can we do to give back to a sport that has given us so much? And I was literally on the plane going to the Queens, and my mind is always working. I'm never off. And I just thought, Jason's coming in for this boot camp and a summer series to Chicago. We should throw a scholarship tournament. Like, maybe we should do that. So I landed, and I texted him right away. I said, what do you think about trying to get together? No, we have never run tournaments in our life. We just bowl them. We don't run them. So I'm like, I don't even know if this is possible. But he's like, that is an amazing idea. And of course, he added all these other great ideas to that idea. And then we thought, let's do this. Let's create a youth bowling tour. And because again, there can't be enough. There can't be enough coaches. There can't be enough opportunities for these young bowlers to go. So we could not have done this idea. We could have not executed it as well as we did in 2.5 weeks without the help of our tournament crew, which is the Dirks family. They're from Iowa, who we met through our bowlers boot camp months and months back. Andy and Michaela have run tournaments before. They have 2 young bowlers that are 12 and 13, Alex and McKenna. And they're, I think, the coolest family I've ever met, ever. But, they were willing to jump on board right away and make this happen. And that's why we decided our first stop would be in Iowa, because they have good connection. It'll be a good place to kind of have the first event and learn what we need to do. And 2.5 weeks, my goal was to get 35 kids out. And we got 60. And we were so pumped. Like the night before, I know I couldn't sleep. I was so excited. And then we got there, and Jason and I, to set this tournament apart from other tournaments, we actually held a training session. We are going to put a tough pattern out, a sport pattern or a WTBA pattern at every one of our events, because we believe in competitive bowling.
The other thing that we wanted to do is we didn't want to just give these kids a place to compete. We wanted to obviously use what we know to help these kids to get better. So we wanted to find a way how we could use an education system to make these kids learn what they're about to do and what their bowling ball is about to do, understand why it's doing that. So when they finish, if it wasn't such a good day on the lanes for them, they don't feel defeated. They don't feel like they're not going to, they won't have the confidence to try another tournament. We're going to say, this is what happens, this is why it happens, and these are the areas you're going to have to work on. So a little training session always, helps.
And I know as a youth bowler growing up, you kind of are thrown in the deep end of the pool and said, well, you got to swim, you got to learn how to swim. Well, I thought it would be really cool to give them an opportunity to learn about the WTBA Beijing pattern before they saw it. And we were really surprised when we got there and we asked, how many of you have ever bowled a tournament that wasn't on a house pattern? I think like 2 people raised their hand out of like 60. And we couldn't believe it. So we're like, wow, this is going to be eye-opening for them and for their parents. And we didn't want everyone leaving discouraged or frustrated or confused.
Which didn't happen at all. Which is what we were really happy with. After we explained to them what was going on, everybody was really open to the idea, and that's kind of going to be our theme towards all the other youth tours that we have. Is this is not going to be a walk in the park. We want these kids to get an understanding of what tournament bowling is truly about at the elite level. You're going to bash your head against the wall sometimes. You're going to, you're going to see things you've never seen before.
You're going to learn the importance of sparing.
And you're going to become a much better spare shooter. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we want to reward the best bowler. And, and for us, in our careers, the best bowler has always been very clear on a tougher pattern. On the easier patterns, you can make up so many excuses why people win, But on a tough pattern, lefty, righty, two-hander, it doesn't matter. Everyone's in the same boat, and if you win, then you're going to get the credit that goes with it. And that's something that we feel really strongly about.
So we spent an hour and a half in the classroom with the help of Kegel and John Janowitz, who helped us create this awesome PowerPoint that focused on the Beijing pattern. We explained to them why on a short pattern you're going to want to play right, and this is pattern, probably shorter than a lot of you have seen. A lot of them weren't comfortable playing right of 10. After an hour and a half of talking to them, and they asked great questions. They were all engaged. We didn't lose anybody. We got on the lanes, and they got to bowl on it before the tournament.
Yeah.
So for about an hour, they spent, and we spent trying to get them to move further right because they think that they were right. Right, and I'm like, okay, you need to move like still 10 boards right. Like, I don't care if you throw gutter. I want you to get outside your comfort zone, as close to the gutter as possible. And then those kids, when they did do it and their ball did exactly what we told them it would do, they were like, oh my gosh, this is easy. And the parents had to understand a little better too.
Yeah. So 2.5 weeks, we were able to raise just under $8,000 in scholarship and prizes. Again, so many different sponsors, and I'm not going to go through them all, but there's one person in particular I would like to thank, and his name is Gail Voschel. We met Gail at another boot camp, and he's been very kind enough to inject a significant amount of money into this tour to give these kids something really worth bowling for. And because of his contribution, we were able to put on top for the under 20 girls and boys a $1,000 scholarship guaranteed in 2.5 weeks. So we're very, very proud of that. And you know what that actually means, what that says, is if in 2.5 weeks we can create a tournament with that kind of prize fund, those kind of prizes, what are we going to be able to do for the rest of our tour lives? And our next one, we actually haven't scheduled a date, but we know it's going to be probably before September. And that means we've got a few months to organize this. So we're really excited at how big we can make this. And
we're always looking for more sponsors. Anybody out there that is interested in putting money into youth bowling and supporting. I was
going to say, Gail, you know, his passions, he has 3 passions: his family, his work, and bowling. And he's always wanted a way to give back to bowling. He just didn't have a connection. He didn't really have an avenue. And he said that, you know, obviously he wants to help the youth of America. And through us, he feels there's a really good way to do that. So if anyone's out there, obviously we take all small and large contributions, and everything goes to the kids. So believe you me, we're not putting it into our top pockets and walking to the bank, cheeky grin. We're giving it straight back.
And it was really cool because I interviewed the champions of the 4 divisions afterward, and the one girl said, I don't know how to play the slaves if I didn't come to the training session. And, you know, thank you for kind of showing us the way and how to play Beijing. The other kid, under 20, happened to be two-handed, and it was his first tournament he ever won. Doing something for these bowlers that we're so proud of, and we just know it's going to get bigger and better. And we're lucky. We're lucky we have a good support behind us too with the Jerks family.
And one of the questions that you were asking about the future of it, we see, I would say, probably 5 to 6 tournaments on a calendar. And to start, of course, and we're really hoping that's going to grow. The kids will be able to travel to all of them, hopefully make it appealing enough for them to go and travel. And ultimately, we're going to have some really cool kind of ideas. We're going to have like a points, a ranking system within the tour. We're going to have all these kind of things that you would see on your normal like PBA tour. We're going to incorporate into this youth tour. So these guys are going to feel like they're a part of a professional organization that's for them.
And because of Perez, our videographer, we're going to offer live streaming soon. And we're going to offer these kids, these young bowlers, an opportunity to get better at interviewing skills and how to talk to the media, because we're going to have a media booth set up at our tournaments where they're going to have to report to and conduct interviews. So this is more than just getting to be a better bowler. They're going to learn so many life skills through our events.
Yeah, good. You know what I mean? I think we all want bowling to flourish, and I honestly believe it is a fantastic way to reignite the fire with youth, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, you know, I love the saying "master the craft."
Master your craft.
Yeah, master your craft. You know, it's kind of like the perfect balance of, you know, the art of the game with your personal style and excelling at it, right? I mean, do you have any story there for how you came up with that? Because it sounds perfect.
Yeah, I just think we were talking about what the international art of bowling is, and it is artistic, and it is working on what your craft is, no matter what you're doing. And in this particular situation, it's bowling, and so we just thought master your craft really says it all. It's your craft. This is what you're doing is your spin on everything, and it's your art, and it's not anyone else's. So master that. Don't try to master what the book says, or what the TV says, or master your craft. And I think that speaks for itself.
I think to answer your question, I think I came up with it,
which is actually the opposite.
And I'll take full credit. So you're welcome.
So is this going to be one of those arguments?
No, because he knows that I came up with that, and that was just his little way of digging in.
That's just
But now everybody knows that it was my brilliant idea.
That's not true. She came up with one word. I came up with master and craft.
Such a little liar.
Well, you know what? I wish you all the best of luck with the International Art of Bowling. I think it's great. I think you have a lot of positive things going on there, and any way that people can support, I think it's going to be awesome. So I just want to thank you for your time, both Jason and Diandra. It was a pleasure speaking with you today. And,
thank you, and thank you for highlighting what we're doing. And we want to get this all across the world. We want people to know what we're doing, because it affects everyone. So thanks to people like you, keep doing what you're doing for bowling, because we need more of you.
Yeah, and if there's any of your fellow Canadian friends up there that want the IAB to come to Toronto, or even the EYT, I mean, we're very prepared to kind of travel, and we're very prepared to expand both of those concepts around the world. And yeah, why not go somewhere where you have the same queen that I do? I think that's important for me. I want to go somewhere where there's a queen on the note, on the coins.
I thought you were talking about me.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, that worked.
Like, did you just call me your queen?
No.
I didn't think so.
No, you're the joke.
Thanks again. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it.
You got it, mate. Cheers.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching TamerBowling Video Ball Reviews.